I'm John Newcomer. We want to give you a brief primer on how to file a False Claim Act case.
We're going to give you a checklist of things that you should be gathering that'll be helpful to you, helpful to the government, helpful to the investigation.
Here's what you should be doing to prepare now. 1. Write down everything you know about the fraud and keep a pad nearby to make notes of additional things as they come to you.
What you need to prepare is a written dialogue of everything that took place and everything that you believe is important to establish the false claim. Focus on what action or activity you believe was fraudulent and when that fraudulent activity began, and if it's ended, when did it end? It's also very important to know how much money is involved in the fraud. So we need for you to calculate the amount of money that you believe the federal government was defrauded from and how you arrived at that figure. Now, when you're writing things down, make sure you just don't include the positive, but include the negatives. We can deal with anything, but we do need to know if there's any negative information out there. Be exact, be as detailed, and be as accurate as possible. Don't exaggerate. We need to know exactly what happened.
One of the most important things a whistleblower has to understand when they bring a government fraud case is that their case is competing with literally tens of thousands of other cases from all across the United States. The most important thing any law firm specializing in these type cases can do is to get your case to the top of the pile.
96% of all money recovered under the False Claim Act is recovered in those cases in which the federal government has intervened. Therefore, it is critical that we provide enough information to the government to get them interested in your case so that they intervene. And this is not an easy task, because the government only intervenes in less than 23% of all False Claim Act cases that are filed.
With our background in federal law enforcement, we know how to get your case to the top of the pile.
We need to present a compelling complaint and a compelling compendium of facts to support the false claim. And that's why this process that you need to go through is very important.
2. Make a list of where essential documents are located, both written and electronic.
You need to list each and every document that you believe is important in proving the false claim, and we need to know where those documents are stored. It's also important to know whether they are electronic, and if they are electronic, where is the file that they are on the computer. If they are paper, we need to know where they are stored and who has custody of those documents.
But be careful not to go too far while gathering information for your claim.
Don't go and get something out of somebody else's desk that doesn't belong to you. You know, you're putting yourself in jeopardy. We can get that later.
3. Make a list of supervisors and anyone else who participated or may have information about the fraud.
List everyone who is involved in the fraud. We need to know their names, their positions, and the knowledge that they have or what acts they actually committed. It's very important to know whether they are current employees or former employees, and also whether they're going to be friendly to our position or adverse witnesses to our position. It's very important not to discuss with others that you are contemplating filing a false claim. There is a first to file rule.
To have any chance of getting a reward for the information you provide to the government,
You have to be fast. Like it or not, if you report fraud and somebody else has reported fraud 2 days prior to you, you don't get to split the reward. You get nothing. First to file is a big deal. It's the way it is in the statute. There's nothing you can do about it.
4. Locate or prepare a chart of the company's complete corporate structure.
Starting with the president or the CEO and working its way down through each division or level of the company that was involved in the fraud. That way we know who is reporting to whom and what activity they knew or should have known that involved this criminal activity.
You don't have to leave your job to file a complaint under the False Claims Act. It may be important for you to keep your job.
If you're still working at the company that's committing fraud, you don't have to quit. It may be that once we bring it to the attention of the government and our investigators have a chance to talk with the FBI, as they do all the time, they may want you to stay in place. So don't think that you have to quit. You know, if it's unbearable, if you've been identified as someone that may be a problem for them, it's uncomfortable and you have to leave, well, go ahead and leave. That's okay, we can deal with that.
Many whistleblowers question whether their involvement in the fraud ruins their chance of getting rewarded for filing a false claim. They often say to us,
am I personally liable because, I participated in this fraud somehow? Or will I be disqualified for bringing this case? And the answer is no. Quite often, the people who bring these cases and get the rewards from these cases have participated in some respect. You know, if you're really high in the pecking order, if you've really been active in the fraud, well, it's going to take some doing to lay the groundwork with the prosecutors. But we've been doing this for a long time. We're familiar with the drill. The answer to the question is no, you're not prohibited.
You will find links to the Qui Tam statute and other essential information at jameshoyer.com. You will also find a forum to discuss your potential claim with us in more detail. We look forward to working with you to successfully present your case.